Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Marketing Matters. This is Landmark Title's weekly webinar we bring to you every Wednesday at 10 a.m. I am Sarah Touchstone, Landmark Title's social media marketing strategist and educator, and I get the pleasure to host this, to come up with the topics, to reach out to guests that come on. We have guests that range from top producers in the real estate industry to industry partners to business professionals that have information to share with you. Today, we've got Brooks Maschmeier of Snowbird Nation, brokered by EXP. He runs kind of a medium-sized team here in the Phoenix area, and they have, as a bonus, agents throughout the country as well. So he's one of the team leaders on there, and he brings a wealth of knowledge every time he comes on here and talks to us. So Brooks, I'm going to let you tell us about the topic that you are talking about today. And this one, guys, this is something I think all of us need in the real estate industry right now.
Well, today, kids, we get to talk about how to sell a house. Yes, we are back there. Okay, the houses are not selling on pre-market unless they're way under. Houses are not selling if they're outdated. Houses are not selling in general just because market shift. We're there now. So let's just have a crash course, refresher course, whatever you want to call it, about how to sell a house. And by means of that, we're going to go through a slideshow with Sarah. And I'll be curious to know if any of you individually have tried these tactics and if it has worked out for you. Sarah, I think we have like 6 points, right?
6 points today to cover. So diving in to probably the most important, that's why it's number one, is boom.
Price. Price is the ultimate advertiser. We as agents, we're basically there to publicize, solicit, throw parties, get attention for your listing. But at the end of the day, price is the ultimate factor. Nobody's going to buy $1 million house that's worth 500, right? And in these shift times, guess what just happened? Your home, even though it's adequately priced, may have slipped underneath the radar because it is no longer adequately priced. Now, depending on your seller, they might be motivated, going through a divorce, have to sell no matter what, foreclosures coming. I just sold 2 foreclosures, believe it or not. Like, these things are coming back, and these guys are in a position where they have to sell or else they're going to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars. So depending on the ambitions of your seller, I would suggest bringing up an 8% haircut. 8% is enough to historically move a property. It gets you back below the bar. It's substantial enough that it's a shocker to the seller, of course, but they need to get with the times if they haven't been reading the funny pages. Market shift happens. You have to listen to the market. And if your house is on the chopping block for too long, you have to listen to what the market says. And number one, what the market wants is less money on the table for that house, right? So 8% suggested haircut, and then you work up from there. Maybe we'll just go another 10,000 below, or whatever the seller wants to do, because it's their house at the end of the day. But heavily suggest an 8% reduction, because that'll get you right back on top of the pages, and it'll get in front of people who have not seen the house already, because they've been priced in a different category entirely. I mean, 8%, that's up to $30,000, $40,000. And if that doesn't get you attention, if the market doesn't speak after that, there's something else wrong with the house. It's possessed. Now, in addition to this 8% haircut the seller needs to take, you got to look at what the buyer's commission is on the house. You might have put in there 2% because that's what the market was. Take a look at what your contract actually says, and put that puppy up to 2.5%, 3%, because we're no longer in that market. You might have, slipped the mind that it was 2%, but it's time to take another look at that property for sure. Your buyer might push back on you and be like, okay, well, where's this money coming from? You yourself might need to take a 1/4 point hit just to get your 8% and 2.5%, depending on what your negotiation tactics are with this person. But if the house doesn't sell, you're not getting paid anyways. So consider a haircut on the seller side, and take not only a commissionectomy of sorts, but also give the buyer's agent a little bit more cash on the table. Because we all know that quote unquote agent who only looks at 2.5 and above. They're out there. It's not a fiduciary. It's not in the client's best interest, but people need to get paid. And sometimes that's how they put their search in as well. So that's slide number one.
Yeah. So, and we're seeing a lot of, the seller saying, okay, let's reduce the price. I want to reduce it by $500, $1,000, $5,000, and they're like, well, this is a price reduction, right? It's not going to get the attention that you really need that house to get. And that's why that 8% is really in there. And like it says, it's based on historical norms. This isn't just an 8% that Brooks just pulled out of thin air. This is the number. This is the sweet spot. So if it's not moving, that's the number one thing out there. And like I said, a $500 price reduction in this market, it's just probably not gonna cut it.
You're trying to aim for a totally different demographic that has not seen your house yet. $500 ain't gonna cut it.
Not gonna cut it. All right, number 2.
Shoot it 2, classic, but doable, and a little voodoo magic here. The Saint Joseph statue. It's a classic saint to sell your house. It shows your clients you're going above and beyond, and they may not have heard this before, and they're like, oh, well, that's something new and creative. Or they might have heard of it before and be like, how come you didn't do this day one? So my business partner is Catholic, and I have him bury the St. Joseph statues and say the Catholic prayer that goes along with it. But the idea is you bury the statue face down, head down, facing the street, say your voodoo magic, and then let the universe do what it does. Now, we've had even at good times to do this because the houses were overpriced, and surprisingly, it has a difference every time. Not saying that the house immediately sold, but I have this one property that's been long in the tooth for months now, put a statue down, and all of a sudden we got a bump in showings. Like, it was a change. And if you're just completely out of ideas and they don't want to do anything else, bury a statue, take a picture of you burying a statue. And that's where we're at, guys. We are doing voodoo magic to sell your house. We're doing everything in our capabilities in this world and the next to sell your house. And if nothing else, it looks good in front of the client. And it's honestly just fun. Plus, you could use it for social media content. Hey guys, I'm burying a statue outside this house. It's a historic thing. It's this little known secret amongst realtors. It's internet content. And it's not just another talking head. You're actually doing something, right? Yeah. So has anybody else buried a St. Joseph statue on their listing and had any kind of results?
Yeah, put it in the chat or raise your hand. For me, this is a completely new and different one. I've been in this industry for years. Brooks, I think that, yours is probably the only team that I've ever heard of this, but do a quick Google search on the internet, guys. It is actually a thing. And despite it being, like I said, I don't know a lot of people that do it. This is a new one. I have seen it work time and time again for your team. So I can't dispute, the voodoo magic that it actually does, because I've seen it with my own eyes that it works.
It's weird, but if you go to the We Serve store, they sell them there. It is that commonplace. You can buy them on Amazon, but they are at We Serve right now.
Right. So it is. I mean, if the We Serve store has it, this is a thing. It was legitimately a thing. And like I said, for whatever reason, it seems to work.
We all know the universe speaks really interestingly through real estate. So give back the universe what the universe is asking for. Just weird stuff.
It is, absolutely. But there is a reason it's number 2 on our list. All right, number 3.
Number 3 is a cool one. Okay, so ask other agents to do the open houses for you. Now, by other agents, it may or may not fall in line with your brokerage, but I'm talking if you're from KW, ask EXP agent to do it. Ask different brokerages to do it. Ask your buddy agents to do it. We all know different agents Those agents want leads just like anybody else. So it's in their benefit to do an open house. Heck, they might not have any listings of their own, and they might be really appreciative of hosting your open house because now we're looking for buyers, right? But what this does is it opens up a whole different sphere to that house. Like we as agents, we promote online, we do what we do. We hit our 5,000 followers on Facebook because we're all maxed out, right? But by inviting a whole different group or body or even brokerage to do an open house at your open house, you're opening up that open house to even more people in their sphere as well. Our job as agents is to popularize, get everything noticed. So this is just another way of tapping into a whole different sphere group of people.
Yeah. Quick disclaimer on this. Check with your brokerage or your broker before you start putting it out there to agents from other brokerages, because some brokers and brokerages have very strict guidelines on who can host open houses. Some of them, it's not illegal to do it here in Arizona. However, some brokerages do have very strict guidelines. And if you go over their heads and you do it without, clearing it through them first, you may be at risk of getting one of those delightful phone calls from your broker. What are you doing? We don't allow this. So do make sure that you check with them first. And if they say, no, we don't allow that, be respectful and stay within your brokerage.
Yeah, push back on them and ask them, okay, what's our agent list? And then go down the line of your internal brokerage agent list and ask them individually if they would want to do an open house at your place.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a great tactic for newer agents that have just gotten into the industry within the last couple of years. Open houses weren't a thing that you had to do. I mean, nobody was wanting to generate buyer leads, so hardly anybody was doing open houses. Historically, open houses only sell about 2% of the homes. However, we know that things shifted, times changed. We are kind of going back to that open house. I mean, Brooks, you could testify, you guys do a lot of open houses. That was what your business was originally, a model that your business was built on was doing open houses. And then, they went away, but now they're back. Open houses are huge. Buyers are out there. They are attending. They are looking for open houses. So make sure, I mean, if you've got a listing and you're not doing open houses around the clock on it, you really do need to consider that.
Exposure.
Yeah. Number 4. And of course, guys, if you have any questions, on any of these topics, let us know.
So this is also back in the day kind of tactic. There are realtor tours of areas. Like if you want to learn about luxury, you would hit a realtor tour in luxury areas and see what other agents are talking about, or 55 plus. Well, figure out which neighborhood tour or tour groups are in your sphere, or, ask Title to help you out find that. But put your house on a tour with other agents. Obviously, they're not going to buy the house. They might have a client who's interested, who knows? But the biggest thing is that their feedback will help your client understand where they are at in the market. Oftentimes, real estate's way too personal, and your seller will think of you as a jerk if you say, hey, we got to paint the kitchen, or we got to get a price reduction, or we got to bury a statue, or we got to invite the SPCA dogs over here to get attention. Whatever comes out of your mouth is going to be slighted, because you know how personal stuff is and can get. But if you have a train of other agents coming through, tearing the place apart or saying good things about it, that's not out of your mouth. That's another agent saying what needs to happen. And if 2 or 3 agents say the same thing, well, then you better listen. Like I had this one house that it was so weird. It was just a weird couple. And you know how weird things get. But I ran a tour through there. And the number one thing that every agent said was, yeah, you got 150 soap bottles in the bathroom. Why does the seller wash their hair so much? Okay, well, if you're fixated on hair bottles instead of the damn house, well, let's listen to what they say, no matter how obscure, how weird, how beneficial or non-beneficial it sounds, bring it up to the seller and get rid of your damn soap bottles because it's a distraction. It's those little things, like you've seen the house 100,000 times. You know there's soap bottles there. You laugh about it in your mind. But if you get strangers in there seeing the soap bottles and they're like, dude, hide the soap, then you better hide the soap because you forgot about it. You become nose blind to the place, whatever it might be. Get a train of other realtors in there to give you suggestions that you could bring to your seller because it's not coming from you and they might actually listen this time.
Yeah. And if you're a hyper local agent and you're working a certain area all the time and there is not a home tour in that area, reach out to your business development managers here at Landmark Title and say, hey, can you help to put together a home tour? This is something that we do. We can go into an area, we can reach out to agents, we can actually help put together a home tour. So if you're like, I need to get home on a home tour and there's nothing in the area, don't give up. Use your resources, make this happen. Your sellers want to see that you are being proactive. You can't just sit back anymore in this market and be like, it's gonna sell, it's gonna sell, it's gonna sell. Your contract with these sellers in this type of market can potentially run out. And sometimes they'll even cancel it before it runs out if they don't know that you are being proactive. So use your resources and be proactive.
And this is a back end way of getting other agents from different brokerages to see your house, expand your sphere, get it online without running afoul with your brokerage. Even if you do a search in your listing area, like a mile or two radius, see which houses are on the block for 35 plus days, reach out to those agents directly, develop your own house tour between 5 to 10 of them. And yeah, Sarah's right. You look like you're actually doing something in front of your client, and you are, but it is to your benefit to tell the client what's up.
Yes. And a lot of times too, like you said, with the feedback, if a price reduction is needed and your clients have just dug their heels in and it's not going because they, for whatever reason, they think you have an ulterior motive or you're not good, well representing them. And, like Brooks said, clients can get very snippy because you have gotten into a personal relationship with these people as their agent. But getting the agent feedback from other agents can be it can make a world of difference. If all the agents come through and talk about the shampoo bottles, they're going to put them away. If all the agents come through and say, this house is overpriced, that gives you a lot more fodder in your corner to come back to your clients and say, guys, this is the feedback. It's right here in black and white. They wrote it down. This isn't hearsay. This isn't what some agent that took their client through, gave me some feedback on it. This is, right here, right there. Make sure that, when you're doing a home tour, that it is a well-organized one that does have feedback forms, because that is the number one reason you're doing it, right?
Right.
All right. Number 5.
Number 5, get yourself a backup plan. So Open Door, any other iBuyer, just put your listing through their system and they'll give you a quote. So I have one house that was long on the market, still is long on the market. Open Door 2 months ago offered $415 for it. The other day, because their heels are dug in the ground and they're like, well, let me get another quote from Open Door. Came in at $343, down from $415. Whoa. If that doesn't tell you anything, then you're not listening. So get quotes from iBuyers just to have a backup quote at all. And it shows what the market is saying. Like I work with EXP, and EXP has an auto purchase program. We do it with every ER contract that we have. So that way we have a quote in hand day one. And it's a benchmark to judge what the market is looking at. But if you get a valid offer in hand of your own doing from an iBuyer, and maybe 1, 2, 3 different quotes, because there's a couple different iBuyers out there, then that kind of pushes the whole idea of what this is actually worth on the market. And it gives you a backup plan. So let's say that hold on a second. I got a phone call, so I got to go back to the screen. You know how it is.
You're good. You're still on it.
Yeah. So let's say they're extremely highly motivated and they need to sell the house, divorce, dissolution, death, whatever it might be. And nobody's biting whatsoever for whatever reason. The house stinks, it's overpriced, this, that, the other. You could still have an iBuyer in hand just to be like, okay, here's the backup plan. What date is your very last date that you need to sell this by? And then we'll go ahead and secure this offer the day before that, before probate kicks in or before whatever happens, whatever your deadline is. It's always good to have an offer in hand. It's better than not having an offer in hand, obviously.
Yes. And I mean, I don't know that we're going to see this anymore in this market, but every once in a while that comes in, the open door, offer pad, whatever iBuyer you're using, sometimes comes in as a good, decent offer. And your clients are willing to take it. And if you're in the one, you're the one who's in the driver's seat and negotiating these, instead of your clients going behind your back and doing it, then you still have the potential to actually make money on this deal. So make sure you're the one in the driver's seat.
And one key strategy to this is pay attention to when their offer expires. Let the seller know when that offer expires, and then have this conversation again the day before it expires, being like, okay, might be on the market for another 30, 60, 90 days, and I guarantee we're going to get less than this. So if you could stomach this obscenely low price because you still have a ton of equity in, take it. I suggest you take it. And if you don't take it, it's on you.
Yeah. And I love the fact that they do give an expiration date, because deadlines make people do stuff. Yep. It's so easy in our industry to just, especially after going through the market that we just did, where, houses were selling and coming soon status, like there was no time on market. It can be so easy in the type of market that we're shifting into for houses to sit and sit and sit with kind of no end, no deadline in sight. So along with, the expiration date, it's not a bad thing to try to give your clients deadlines. If we didn't meet, we haven't gotten any offers on the table by this date, let's sit down and reconsider what our options are. So the fact that, like I said, if you're doing, an iBuyer program and you've got an expiration date on that, that's essentially giving you the leg up to sit down with your clients and do the same thing, reassess with what's going on. All right, Brooks, last but certainly not least is number 6.
Da-da-da. Rent it. You are all out of ideas. You are all out of options. They have their feet dug in. Rent it. So everybody, their mother and their dog just refinanced their house over the past couple of years. We're looking at interest rates of 3, 4, maybe VA 2.5. What? Okay. And the rental market is obscenely high right now because it had followed the last wave. So I know Sarah has a lot of contacts in the rental management industry, so ask her for those to get a price on what your listing might garnish as a rental. Bring that price to your lister and your seller and be like, okay, well, how much is this costing you a month? What's the holding costs? This is how much you could make off it. As your fiduciary, I have to inform you, you are just losing money every month holding on to this place and having to pay the utilities. Why don't we turn around and rent this place, wait a couple of years, and then you sell it with me again, knowing that I have your best interest in heart. Because as your fiduciary, I care about your money sometimes more than you should. And this is a better angle. Your house has been on the market for 90 days. You don't want to go down on price. And if we rent it over the next 5 years, it should be even worth more. Only we will be in a better market. So position yourself correctly. Let's rent this sucker, or at least look at the numbers to rent this sucker. And then We'll sell it when the time is right, because the
Mhm.
time is not obviously right. Anybody who's got a house for sale right now is in a better position than somebody who's got no assets, no house, no cars, no boats, no dogs, no whatever you want to call it, but they have an asset in hand. And you have to look at that asset from multiple different views. Shoot, if you got no HOA, you make that into a vacation rental, you can get like a 12 to 15% cap on that sucker at these interest rates. It's insane. But there's always just regular long-term rental. And once again, Sarah has contacts for both vacation rental and regular rental to know what those numbers might actually look like. I've had a house, I got it from another agent who couldn't sell it. I got a house, their heels were dug in, it's overpriced, they're not listening, and now we're talking about renting it because that is their option. That is their only option. But they could afford it. Once they looked at the numbers, they could afford it because they're actually going to make money on it, and they're going to make money over a course of years until the market turns back into a shape they want it to. Now, point of interest here, we are in August. Don't sign a 12-month, darn it, this freaking thing. Let me go back. So keep on getting calls. You know what day it is.
It's real estate, right?
So if you're going to rent it, do not do a 12-month lease as of this month, because it's going to put you right back in the tail end of position of summer. Highest dates to sell, the best dates to sell are February through July, right? So put it on an 18-month rental. Entice them with that. That puts them right back into February, right back into the hot season. If it's a vacation rental, you could do 6 months. Who knows what the HOA allows or doesn't allow? But try not to do a 12-month rental as of this month, because it's going to put you right back in the same position next year, which you do not want. And by offering that tidbit of advice to your sellers, you're looking like you're a person who knows what they're talking about. You're not only suggesting a better alternative for them to make more money, but you're also being strategic about it. So that's number 6 right there. Offer it to become a rental.
Yeah. And I know that this is probably the least, that's why it's number 6 on our list.
Mm-hmm.
For real estate agents, this is probably your least beneficial in the short term, because you're not going to make commission off of it when they switch it over to a rental. But guys, real estate is a long-term game. It's the long game. You know, build these relationships with people. Just because you're not making money today, stay top of mind with them. Be the person in the know. Be the person that, you know, they are the ones that they trusted you, and you steered them in the correct direction. Odds are good that 18 months from now, 2 years from now, whatever, 6 months from now, that when they are ready to sell again, you stay top of mind and you are the trusted professional. They'll turn to you once again to sell it. So don't look at this as being, you know, a tapping out, you lost. This is a win, because you're going to stay top of mind, and you have the potential as being their trusted partner. Always think about the fact too, that if you steer them in the right direction, if they're making money, think about their sphere of influence and the referrals that you may get from them. If you're the real estate agent that just throws your hands up and says, I don't know what to do, I'm not making money off of this, I'm done, I wash my hands, guaranteed, you know, some people are crazy and you might get referrals, but most likely you're not going to get referrals. So always, every interaction you have in real estate with leads, clients, always think about the long game with them. It's so easy because, you know, you guys are all commission based. It's really important to get these deals done and get them done in a timely fashion, because that's what puts food on your table. That's what puts a roof over your head. However, have people positioned at all stages. With a pipeline, your pipeline should always be fed. So even if this is a pipeline for you a couple of years down the road, you know, treat them with, you know, the same kind of enthusiasm and respect that you would on a closing that you have closing, you know, with clients tomorrow.
This number 6 is a last case scenario. Like Sarah says, you won't get commission off it, but you might get referrals and you might get a future commission. And if this is the last case you're going to tap out, you might as well go out as a shining beacon of light and knowledge.
Right.
So set these people up on HomeBot, let them work for you in that way so they know what their house is worth over the course of years. Tap in every now and then, just put them into a drip campaign. We have tools for this. We got tools for this, guys. And unlike a seller that sells their house, leaves the state, and you got no more referrals from them, you have a guaranteed connection with these people. You've already put work in. You get to touch base, wish them happy birthday, ask them which cousins, lovers, haters are selling their house. I mean, this is an ongoing referral, you know, buy or die, right? Even if it takes years, this is just another seed in the ground.
It is absolutely, absolutely. And just like Brooks said, we've got great resources at Landmark Title. A lot of, I mean, you can do property management, you can do rentals with your Arizona real estate license. Some brokerages don't allow it though. And I'm good friends with a property manager, and I will tell you the stories that she tells. I wouldn't want to do property management.
It's a full-time job.
It's a full-time job. So we've got really good resources. Patty Hatton, I've had her on here with Provident Partners. This is her full-time business. You know, she does vacation. She does long-term. She works with your clients, but then she also keeps in touch with you and your clients and lets you know if they are thinking about making any changes. You stay their real estate agent when you work with a good professional property management company. And so, you know, she'll even, I mean, some of the agents that she works with, if she senses that that y'all's clients are thinking about selling, she even notifies the real estate agent, hey, stay on top of mine. This is your client. Mm-hmm. So when you've got a great partner like that, it really is. It's a win-win situation, even if it takes a little bit longer.
Okay, so let's get into Wacky.
Wacky. Oh,
you want to do questions or Wacky?
Well, if anybody has any questions, go ahead and put them up in the chat or the question and answer window while we are doing Wacky.
Okay. You guys ask your questions. I am going to proceed. So let's get wacky with it. Let's have some fun, all right? We have a losing property that's not going to sell. So now we're going to talk about not how to not sell the property, but how to get more leads. So use that property to your advantage while you still have it. Wacky number 1, get with a local art dealer. And this especially works for luxury listings. Get with an up-and-coming artist or an art dealer, get into the art industry, and throw a themed open house where that art is hung on the walls of the house. And of course, it's for sale, but now you've created an event, not just an open house to sell the house, because we've already said that's not this discussion. This discussion is to get you more leads. You now have an event on your hands where you get to invite your entire sphere, the neighborhood, the seller, her family, everybody under the sun to this art gallery. Serve some wine, do your thing, you know, but just invite people. You wouldn't believe how many people show up for pizza and wine. And then there's art that makes you classy. Sweet, you know, especially works behind gated neighborhoods, because gated neighborhoods, they're just aching for some kind of camaraderie. And usually those are higher priced neighborhoods who like art, who like wine. So use this last listing, because you know it's not going to sell, to your advantage the best you can. Another suggestion, I'm just looking this up online, is to have a game at your house, like throw a big whodunit game, a big clue game. I don't think as many people are going to show up to that, but it sounds fun, whatever. I would stick with the wine and art gallery that you know of, right? You want to hear a horrible one, guys? An absolutely horrible one?
Yeah, this is a do not do. We do not endorse this one.
We do not endorse this one. Test drive. Offer to let the potential buyers move in for the weekend to try out the house, try out the bed. Why don't you? Like, I'm just looking this up online, and it's just like, oh no, I would never do that.
No the liability on that.
The liability on that. Absolutely insane. It'll get you a lot of attention though. I'll tell you that. There's this one time where we had vagabonds calling up the office asking for vacant listings, and they would squat in the house. So this is kind of no different than that. If you open up that door, Jesus, right? Another fun one, use social media and put bounties on your listings. I'll give $500 to whoever can find me a buyer for this property. But of course, you can't give somebody without a license money. So this is another do not do, or get in cahoots with your title rep who's going to give them a free TV for buying the house or whatever it might be. But put a bounty on the house on your social media. Heck,
Wanted
you got no other options.
buyers for my house.
Wanted are buyers. This gold doubloon to the first buyer in the house. Are. And then another fun one that I actually saw during the height, move the house value down to $1. House for sale, $1. If you get your seller to agree to that, then you're going to be shoveling a lot of leads, a lot of different ways. It's not going to sell the house. It might, who knows? But move the house down to $1 and see what the market does with that.
Yeah, we'll be telling our grandkids, Brooks, about like, do you remember? You remember the time when the houses were listed for $1? Remember that phase? That was a wild time in real estate.
The market's going to speak no matter what. Actually got a fair value out of it, but I got all the attention I was looking for.
All the attention. The listings at $1.
So there's a lot of bad ideas out there, including illegal ideas. Don't do those. Go through 1 through 6, bounce the ideas off your title rep, see what it feels like, all that kind of good stuff. But at the end of the day, the dollar value of how much that house is selling for is the ultimate thing that's going to make it move. Ultimate move.
It is. And it goes back to, like I said, number one. So I know this topic actually came up from us title reps here at Landmark Title, talking about strategies to help our clients regarding, getting their houses sold. So, I talked with Brooks about all of this and kind of put that out there. So, ask your title reps too for creative ideas on how you can get your listing sold. Like I said, these are just Brooks's 6 points, but I guarantee you that there's a lot of information and a lot of help and assistance that you can get from your industry partners. You are not alone in this process. Even though, real estate agents, a lot of times, if you're not on a team or in a big brokerage, you can feel like a lone wolf. But that's where your industry partners are there. Your title reps, they're not just there to ask you to put them on a contract. They're really there to offer value, to help you through these processes. So, reach out to them if you are struggling or you have any questions. Speaking of questions, Brooke, we have one.
Nice.
Requesting a bid from an iBuyer, do you secure a listing agreement first or request the bid up front?
If you know that you're having your listing appointment coming up and that's a sure dunk slam deal, there's 2 different ways. You're right. In order to get the listing, you got to get paid, right? So depends on what the situation feels like. If it's a slam dunk, you can get one beforehand and then one afterhand just to see what the differences are. But the one that you're going to show the client is the one that you have as a representative.
Yes. So be the go-between. Don't suggest that they go get a quote because they can absolutely go over your head.
Yep.
This is your quote for their house. And as far as a listing agreement, get your contracts signed, get them in order. This is your business. A lot of times we like to think that we can operate on good faith with clients and people, but people be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes down to money, people can be downright cutthroat and cut you out. So make sure this is your business. I already said this earlier. This is how you put food on the table. This is how you put a roof over your heads. You're not in this business just for goodwill and good deeds. You need to protect yourself. So a listing agreement is a really good idea, But then, like I said, being the go-between with the iBuyers, if you can secure that for them, you do still have the opportunity to get paid on that deal, even if they go with an iBuyer. So position yourself as the go-between and don't let your clients cut you out, because you are working really, really hard in this market for them.
Another point of interest on that is some iBuyers don't offer any kind of quotes if the place is represented. That comes and goes. That's a rule of willy-nilly. It's entirely up to them whether they want to give you a quote or not. Call them up, be like, hey, give me a damn quote. And if they won't, then move on to the next one and the next one and the next one. There's plenty of options out there.
There's plenty of them out there. And iBuyers, they're kind of in a desperate situation right now. They've done a lot of things. We're not going to get into particulars. But yeah, I mean, if they're not willing to work with you, find one that is.
Yep.
All right. If anybody else has any questions, put them up there. I'm going to quickly, we are running out of time. So I'm going to go through classes that we have coming up. It is fall. It's back to school, not just for the kids, but for real estate agents. So here over at Landmark Title, we are exploding with CE classes. We've got one coming up next week. This is next Thursday. It's online. It's a Zoom format. I love Zoom CE classes because, you know, you get to sit there. It's kind of almost like a one-on-one type experience, even though you've got, you know, a lot of other people on Zoom. It's so easy to ask questions. You get plenty of breaks. It really is just a fantastic format. So if you need some legal issue credits, let us know. We'll get you the registration link. This is next Thursday, so jump on it. And then Renee, our Goodyear rep, she is doing a CE class. This is it sewer or septics? This is going to be a really, can't use the S word, kind of class. It's all about poop, guys, all about poop. And this one is going to be on Tuesday, the 23rd. This is a 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And guess what? It's also on Zoom. Yay. And this is going to be disclosure credits. And then I'm doing a breakthrough broker. This is 2 Mondays. So not next Monday, but the Monday after. This is going to be an online kind of class tutorial. We offer breakthrough broker here at Landmark Title for free. This is a free, it's easy. You can create marketing materials for your business. It also has MLS integration. So we have an amazing, amazing design team here at Landmark Title. I hope that everybody on has used our design team. However, every once in a while, you get a call from your clients at, 5 o'clock on a Friday, and they need something, you need something, and our office is closed. Well, guess what? You can hop on and create it through Breakthrough Broker, print it out, boom, done. You got yourself covered. So hop on that Zoom and figure out, if this is something you can really utilize for your business. Or maybe you already have Breakthrough Broker and you just want to learn a few other things. And then for our Prescott agents, yeah, we have an office up in Prescott. And I know a lot of you guys are on here. I will be up in person on Tuesday, August 23rd. We're going to be doing a top of mind event class, and fall right now is the perfect time to really reach out to your clients with events. The holidays, this is a no-brainer. And this is the type of marketing that you really need to be doing for your business right now. So please come out to that. That's going to be 9:30 on the 23rd. And then right after, we're going to be making some GIFs. Those are the little animated videos of yourself that you can put on your marketing material. From what I've heard in the Prescott area, there's only a few agents that are doing this. So if you really want to stand out in that market, come in, we'll get them done. It's all free. And then other CE classes that we have coming up. So the one that next week kicks off our fall CE series. And then we've got another one on and these are all via Zoom. So September 22nd is disclosure, October 20th, contract law, and November 17th, fair housing. If you want more information on those, reach out to your business development managers. Guess what? We're already getting into September. So we've got Appraisal 101 coming up September 8th. This is another CE class. I mean, I told you guys at the beginning, before I even started talking, lots of CE going on. So this is 3 hours of general on September 8th. If you would like more information, let us know. Patty and Michael are hosting that. And then last, but certainly not least, looking a full month out in advance on Wednesday, September 14th, we've got another one. This is in person. This is for general credits, and this is credit, the impact of credit on the real estate transaction. This one is going to be really good knowledge. So I know that those two are a little bit out there, but get them on your calendar, get your credits, your CE credits, so that you are on top of it and you're not like so many of us that at last minute, you're like, I got to take all my credits. We've got you covered at Landmark Title. So thank you guys for hopping on today. If you'd like a copy of the recording, reach out to Beth, Becky, Melinda, Mary, Patty, Michelle, Michael, Tom, or Renee. Get a copy, and they can also, like I said, anything we talk about here on Marketing Matters, they can help you to implement in your business, and we are so grateful to have them. And then, as always, thank you to Landmark Title for allowing us to bring you Marketing Matters every Wednesday at 10 a.m. We have 7 offices here in the Valley to service you, as well as our one up in Prescott. We're happy to help you with your marketing material. And of course, we are always grateful to be written in on your contracts and to be able to work with you in those types of capacities. And thank you to Brooks for coming on, sharing some of that information. These are things that, you know, I think a lot of agents, either they don't know about or sometimes we don't think about, and they haven't been top of mind for us in years because we haven't needed these tactics. So it was a really great informational and refresher. All right, that's it for us today, guys. I was going to say if Brooks was going to say goodbye, but he's already off.
That's okay. I could say goodbye. And I'll also follow up with get back to work, guys. It's in the middle of the day.
Back to work for everyone. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
All right, bye.